Let's race! Available to stream in one app. Them all.
Edincross Sports Update. Tell a friend to tell a friend that the boy wonder is on air. As usual, we're here to give you nothing but the best from the world of sports, particularly football, our game. The boy wonder is on air. I know you miss me. I miss you too. But I'm here today. We're back. Sports around the world. Undiluted. Unfiltered. Sports from empirical sources that we bring to you. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Officially, the 22-23 season is over. Manchester City are the crown champions in England, and in Europe they won the treble. The second team to do since Sir Alex with Manchester United in England. It's been a while since a team from any part of the world won the treble. But Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, did it. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Elsewhere in NBA, the Denver Nuggets, they made history. They made history. The Joker, Nikola Jokic. How can you stop the unstoppable? How can you stop Edincross Sports Update? How can you stop the boy wonder? We are here to give you nothing but the best. We are here to make your evenings, depending on wherever you find yourselves around the world. Transfer. Teams reviewing the year. Teams trying to beef up their squad. Teams trying to do rebuilding. Teams under transition. There's and many more we bring to you here on Sports Update. The draft was done last Thursday night. The NBA draft. Victor Wembanyama, that's the new kid in the building. The new NBA kid. This guy is 7'4". 7'4". And guess what? He got the skills. He got the momentum. He's ready. Victor Wembanyama, the number 1 pick of the draft. And he's going to play for Spurs. Alongside other talented kids coming up. The game of NBA is about to see new talent, new prospects, potentials. And on the local scene, finally, the baby jet. The jet has finally landed. The jet was soaring. The jet was hovering. But finally, the jet has landed.
I went to St. Jude because I had a cancerous tumor.
The jet has landed. Baby Jet Asamoah Gyan has retired from international football. Actually, he has retired from active football. Finally. We shall go into it. His life and his career, his beginning, and how far he has come. That we should talk about. And how is life after football? We shall go into that. And you're there. We are here to make your day. Sport and entertainment. Sport and entertainment. That's what we bring to you. Oh, it's reminding me of those days. Back in those days. Jesus Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are about to soar. Very soon. We are just warming up. Hallelujah. Oh Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on wherever you find yourself around the globe. This is the boy Wonder on Edincro Sports Updates on Edincro Radio NY on Facebook and Edincro Radio TV NY on YouTube. This is your man, the boy Wonder. I'm here to do nothing but to serve. We are here for another edition of Edincro Sports Update, sports around the world. Yes. The 2022-2023 season has come to an end. We have seen teams who have made impact, teams who have made names for themselves. We have seen improvements from other teams. We have seen. Did we get some surprises? Yeah, Inter Milan was a surprise, getting to the finals of the Champions League anyway. And then Champions League. Manchester City has finally won their first Champions League in history. They started this long ago. They started it. The dream. We shall talk about the dream. Whenever you put something right ahead of you, you have to do everything. It comes with things of hard work, dedication, and perseverance for you to get to where you want to get to. Manchester City have shown that. They started somewhere, little by little, picking up the pieces, and then finally, they hit the top. They hit the top running. If you saw them playing like 2, 3, 4 years ago, yeah, you will see some prospects, you see potentials. Even the last 2 seasons, you would think they have even won the Champions League before, because the way they play boot for boot with those teams up there, it makes you know that definitely a day is coming that very soon or sooner than later they're going to win the trophy. And finally, yes, they did it the hard way, but eventually they became winners of the Champions League for the first time, being led by the man himself, Pep Guardiola and Ilkay Gundogan. Yeah, that was the captain who was bought in injury. Yes, but even being injured, Pep Guardiola had that faith in this guy, that this guy is the turning point to the success of Manchester City. He placed his faith in him, and finally, after several years of thought, several years of determination and hard work, finally, it has paid. And Manchester City are champions of the Champions League. They are the winners of the They are the champions of Europe. Very soon they will be champions of the world, because I'm not sure any team in the world will be able to stand their might, even as they play the World Club Championship. Yes, that is Manchester City. You go elsewhere, I think the domestic leagues, Manchester City again won the EPL. You go to Spain, FC Barcelona won. You go to Italy, Napoli SC, after several years of search of the Scudetto. Finally, Napoli, believing that the spirit of Diego Armando Maradona was at work, and then leading them to their Scudetto title in many years. No, even but for the break, I already thought the way and manner they play with fluidity and understanding, telepathy, we all knew definitely they might find themselves somehow in the final. But I think somehow AC Milan were able to eliminate them from the quarterfinals, where AC Milan were beaten by Inter Milan in the semifinals, and then Inter Milan proceeded to the finals, where they lost to Manchester City. So that is what we are saying. So we are going, like, the year under review. We are going to talk about year under review. What happened? What surprises did we get? What's going on in the transfers? We shall talk about them. Players retiring from active football, we shall talk about that. And then the dream, that is the Manchester City dream. That is the main point of call for today's show. But before we start today's show, do you know that there is a cruise ongoing? There is a cruise ongoing. Next week Friday is about to go down. 7 days more. 9th annual all-white cruise party. 9th annual all-white cruise party is coming off this Friday. Not today, I mean next week, Friday. At Pier 36, 299 South Street, New York, 10002. If you want to be part, you need to get a ticket. No, last year I was there. I missed it because people came in their numbers, and the boat was full. Yeah, we least expected that. I was outside, thinking, I'm just cruising around, when it's time for me to get in, I just go in. But by the time I noticed, the boat was full. It was full, and I wasn't on board. And one of the days I regrettably regret in my life is for me to be at Pier 36 right from the beginning, watch people enter the boat. People entered the boat and left me outside. They went over 4 hours and came back and met me outside. So this time I'm not going to do that mistake. But I'm telling you, you need to grab your ticket now. It's coming down this Friday. And do you know the artists that are coming on board? The artists that are coming on board: Kwame Eugene, and NKZ Guru. These are the artists that are coming on. Yeah, these are many other artists. So come Friday at Pier 36. And this is the address: Pier 36, 299 South Street, New York, 10002. So for you to get a ticket, you can call these numbers. And then for a VIP ticket, you can call 929-331-8560 or 929-331-347. Okay, I say the numbers again. 929-331-8560. Or you can call 347-350-1857. Or you can call 917-528-8033. 8033. So these are the numbers for you to call for your tickets. And I say the numbers again: 929-331-8560 or 347-350-1857. And then finally, you can call 917-528-8033 for your ticket. You can afford to miss this one. It's Kwame Eugene in the boat. We are going to be on the waters for over 4 hours. We have VIP, we have the normal stands, and we are going to mingle and then have fun. Those of you who have been in the house for over many, many decades, those of you who say, oh, I'm the indoor type. Yes, this is an indoor thing, but it is happening on the boat. So you got to come and then join us on the boat. Come Friday. Make sure you're not left out. Because what happened last year, all those who went in and came out, the experiences they were sharing, even we're outside, we're seeing some videos and then stuff going on in. But unfortunately, we couldn't go on board. And this time around, I'm going to be the first person to go into the boat once I get there. So I know you don't want to miss it. 30th of June at Pier 36, the all-white Cruise Party 2023. 9th annual all-white Cruise Party 2023. Yeah, I'm in America, right? All-white Cruise Party 2023. All right, so see you. Make sure you don't miss it. All right, so back to today's program. So, we are reviewing the year. So many things happened over the year. Yeah, we saw surprises. We saw teams like Brighton and Hove Albion making it to Europa League. What a surprise. Aston Villa making it even to Europe, I think the Conference League. These are surprises. And we see Chelsea struggling, trailing, and then I think they ended at 12th position. That is the second half of the league table, which even the last time they did woefully was they ended 8th on the table, but this time around went all the way down to 12th position on the table. And then we saw Arsenal having held on right from the beginning, almost to the end. They dropped the baton. They just dropped the baton. They couldn't hold it no longer. The pressure was too much for Arteta and his boys. The pressure was too much for Thomas Partey, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, and the rest of the boys for them to match boot for boot against Manchester City. Over the years, Manchester City have been there, and then the experience is something you can never take away from them. So, unfortunately, Arsenal, for the first time, people thinking they're going to win it this time around. They opened the gap, but one way, one out, they just lost 3 games in a row, which did not only close the gap but took so much confidence away from the game they played. So they ended up bottling it. So they battled it, and Manchester City finally, after giving that steeple chase, that close chase to Arsenal, finally find their way and then get into glory. So these were some of the things I think in retrospection we want to talk about. I know, and then for this reason, I have seen Arsenal making so many moves to sign some players to beef up the squad. Because if you want to compete with Manchester City, you must have a very good bench. So you could see that Manchester City won from the bench, because they equally have good players at the bench to come and then substitute players that are already playing, or even when players are injured, we have players that we can equally replace boot for boot. So Manchester City had an all-round team, and which was making them fly, and they were just unstoppable. You can't stop the unstoppable, especially when it's in its element. So that was what happened. So Arsenal have started signing, and then we could see even when in January, when the boat became weak, they decided to go in for Jorginho from Chelsea to beef up the midfield. So we even got the point where we noticed Thomas Partey is no more starting for Arsenal, and then the belief and trust they had in him right from the beginning, even to the third half of the season, dwindled and waned, and they had to place their trust in Jorginho. He wasn't a bad addition, but you could see that the whole team actually had a problem, not only one party. So I think we should talk about it, because I really don't believe it was Thomas Partey who didn't push Arsenal to glory, because at the point he was not only him. Bukayo Saka was not pulling. Gabriel Martinelli was not pulling. You could only see some glimpses of pusher from the captain Martin Odegaard, and then at the point they lost Gabriel Saliba, who has been very strong back there. Who has been the man, the fortress at defense, and then all this they don't see, but just that they decided to make Thomas Partey the black sheep. Yeah, they decided to make him the scapegoat, and then finally they went and then signed players for his position, thinking that would be the solution to the problem, but actually it was a collective malfunction, which led to them losing the title to Manchester City. So these were the things that happened over the year, and then we saw how Inter Milan maneuvered their way to the finals of the Champions League, and then they nearly even it was an open game. Manchester City won the Champions League, but they knew they were lucky, because Inter had all the chances, and then they were squandering the chances left, right, center, and that's if you want to be a champion, you have to take your chances. And unfortunately, Manchester City couldn't, and Inter Milan couldn't, take their chances, and then they found themselves, at the mercies of Manchester City, and then eventually Manchester City didn't show mercy, and then they won. So that was what happened. So, if you go to Spain, Barcelona have won the La Liga, and then but what lessons have they learned? Because I think, yes, this is the time for Barcelona to go sit down and then reflect on the past year, and then the successes they have chopped, and then try to make amends. Yeah, they won the league, but it was awful for them in Europe. They couldn't even play against Manchester United. home almighty Barcelona. So it is something, I know they are thinking about. I know they have also made move for players like Ike Gundogan to come and then beef up their squad already. The man in the mid of the pitch, Sergio Busquets has retired, and then they need somebody to come and then beef up. They need somebody with much experience, and I think Ike Gundogan has loads and loads of experience to play and to fill in the boots of Busquets, Sergio Busquets. So that's what's happening. And then now let's go into the world of NBA. So NBA also ended with the Denver Nuggets winning the playoffs for the first time in their history. They won the conference playoffs, and then they won the ultimate. And that's something commendable. Nobody gave them the chance to do that. Nobody. So at the beginning of the season, you could see, you see things or teams show some spectacular, performances, but consistency was the problem. But you could see Denver Nuggets consistently doing it over and over again. Yet they were not given the media attention that they deserved. But finally, they found themselves in the semifinals and in the finals of the conference leagues. And then at the finals of the conference league, it was a flawless victory against the Lakers. With all LeBron James and Anthony Davis whatsoever, they were flawlessly beaten. A 4-0 win against the Lakers. They proceeded to the final against Miami Heat, where they beat the Heat by 4-1. So and then all this while, the man behind this is the Joker, Nikola Jokic. The Joker. So I think now the pattern of play is about changing, teams trying to having said what Nikola Jokic has done this season. So now teams, I don't know if teams will play with the big man, because he's just he bullied his way out. Like nobody could stand him. He shoots three, he tackles, he blocks, he gives assists. And his partnership with Jamal Murray is just out of this world, And then they've been so consistent. They got to the finals, and then they gave like double digits for the first time in the final. Two of them combined, like giving multiple double digits, and which is something commendable we have to talk about. So the Denver Nuggets made history. They made history with Nikola Jokic, the Joker. Yeah. And then finally, after every NBA season, especially in the month of June, we have what we call the draft. So the draft is basically a moment of opportunity for young upcoming talent to be picked up by the NBA teams, the national basketball teams, for them to beef up their squad. It's kind of like a moment of recruiting young ones, but it is done this way. If a team picks you up, you cannot go to any other team but that team, unless otherwise. Okay, after the whole draft, the team will think, okay, we picked you up, but I think we won this one, so can we trade you with this one? So if they are able to come out or to reach an agreement with the other team, then the trade goes on. So that was what happened. So I think basically upcoming prospects, potentials are ticked and then selected by these teams in order to beef their squad. And basically, most of the time, these ones are coming from the colleges and some of them even from the high schools. You see so much prospects in them, and you know that these ones are going to be future of the NBA. And this is something that is being done almost every year to boost the confidence of the upcoming ones, so that whenever they come and then fit in, they will also show what they got. And this season, which was conducted last Thursday night, the number one pick, now the new kid in the building is Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembayama is the new kid in the building. This guy is 7'4" feet. 7'4". What? I don't think there's ever been as tall as a player like this one. There hasn't been. I'm not sure there has ever been a player as tall as this one. Well, if there has, I think they could be of the same height. But this is 7'4". But guess what? He got skills. He shoots three. He blocks. He dribbles. He gives assists. Off the hook assists and passes. Man, this guy is something else. He's something else. And then no wonder, looking at what Luka Jokic has done. So definitely the things would now look for height and then with a little bit of skill, and then power. So I think the only thing that Victor Wembanyama, I think, will be lacking is power. Because, yes, he blocks, he shoots, but he will need a little bit of coaching to make him a full, complete package. Because I think he needs to be put on diet a little bit, They put him on diet so him to gain some weight. And then after... for the skills he got it, a little bit coaching here and then there we go. Aside him, we have some other twins, which were also taking the Thompsons, and we have Amen and his brother, and then fortunately, ironically, they were picked according to the order for which they were born. So the first one came and then the second one came. So that was what happened. And then the most improved young talent coming up is a player we call Koulibaly. I think this is an 18-year-old who was not even considered, I think, 2 or 3 seasons ago. And then all of a sudden, he came from nowhere. And then he, found himself through. And then this boy is doing an amazing. So that is it for the future of basketball. So basketball have seen future. So we have to invest in these ones. Because with Victor Wembanyama, I don't think aside LeBron James, any other player coming up has ever gained media attention like Victor Wembanyama has done. The attention is just huge. He was, there are some seasons you wouldn't know who will be the first pick, but this is a unanimous decision. Like he was up there. He was up there. Like you could see that he's going to be the number 1 pick. So media hype here and there because he caught the attention. He was doing it. What he was born to do. That was what he was doing. And then Victor Wembanyama is the number 1 pick of the draft, and he's going to play for the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, and that's it. And then we have some other. And then finally from NBA, before I get out, there has been some trading, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? What? Guess what? Chris Paul is moving to Warriors, and Jordan Poole is moving to the Blazers. I mean, yo, I don't know. Well, Chris Paul going to the Warriors, is it the right move? Well, for the Warriors, because I don't think the Warriors needed Chris Paul. You have Clay, you have Steph Curry. Even Jordan Poole is also giving you some trees, and he's more athletic than Chris Paul. Chris Paul is a little bit slow for me. He's slow to my liking, and he's aged. Jordan Poole is a young guy, 22, 23. Chris Paul is getting to 40. He's in the late 30s. So I don't know why they will trade Jordan Poole for Chris Paul. Well, I don't know what the coach was looking for. I don't know exactly what the management were looking for. Is it media hype whatsoever? If it's media hype, you have Steph Curry already. You have Klay Thompson already. And I'm not even sure that if Chris Paul goes to the Warriors, he will start. He's going to be coming from the bench, but is he willing or is he ready to come from the bench or to start from the bench? That is another thing to talk about. So finally, for your information, Chris Paul has moved to Golden State Warriors, and then Jordan Poole to the other side. Jordan Poole to the other side. So that is what's there. So that's what's there. So I think so many pundits were shocked. So many brains of the game, couldn't believe that move. But at the end of the day, the Warriors said they want Chris Paul. So let Chris Paul go. Basically, that's what they said. Okay, so that is it from the game of basketball. Now we are going to the game of football. It's been transfers. Teams are very active in this transfer. Chelsea, very, very active. They're trying to offload so many players for them to focus on the future. So players that are not part of the Chelsea future, they are being offloaded. They are being sold out. So we can see players like Kai Havertz. Arsenal are really into Kai Havertz, and then I think he's worth like £65 million with some add-ons. So that is what Arsenal are going in for. So it's almost done. Mateo Kovacic to Manchester City over around I beg your pardon, around £30 million, and it's almost done. Ike Gundogan is almost on its way to Barcelona. So Manchester City are beefing up the squad. And I told you, Pep Guardiola once said you cannot use the same strategy, the same team you won or you played the previous season to go into the new season, because things change. The reason being that you have a pool of players with those who were not playing trying to prove something, and then you have teams who have studied the way you play and they are trying to bring antidotes to your ways of success. So if you go the same way like you did previously, it is not going to end well for you. So he has always learned to beef up his squad and to change his style and his tactics, and then that is what he does. So he always get it begin to the season. Players want to take the preseason to build up their confidence and then to make the team proper. So he gives equal chance to all players who want to compete. At the end of the day, competition is the key. So if you're able to compete and then find yourself or find your way into the team, and that's worked for you. So that is what is happening. So Mateo Kovacic is also finding his way to Manchester City. I think it's going to be a very good addition with the way he plays. It's going to be a very good addition for Manchester City. And then already N'Golo Kante has moved to Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia, and then Chelsea have decided to move almost all their players to Saudi Arabia. Said that they can get us reasonable sums of money. Yeah, that's been smart. That's being smart, because if they sell these players in Europe, they're just going to get a meager amount. But if they send them to Saudi, now N'Golo Kante alone is earning them over like 80 to 100 million pounds, which is a good money. It's a good money for Chelsea to go into the transfer market and then to do their recruitment, because now prospects and potentials, are very, very expensive looking at the age that is given them. So Chelsea want to go youth with a little bit of experience. Yeah, when you go to the defense, they have Thiago Silva, marshalling. What's the name? What's the name? Fofana, and then Badiashile. Yeah, and then you see Reece James, and then Chilwell, and then Kukuya alongside, and the others, coming up. So in the midfield now, Chelsea has gone to Real Madrid to ask for Aurelien Tchouameni, but I'm not sure Real Madrid will let Aurelien Tchouameni to leave Real Madrid, because he is a proper DM. And then at the moment, I think the only DM Real Madrid has is Toni Kroos, and then Toni Kroos is aging. And then for Camavinga, I think he's a versatile player, so they would want to use him in other positions and then for other reasons. So they would want to keep Aurelien Tchouameni. Chelsea went in for Tchouameni because Jude Bellingham has signed for Real Madrid. And then with Jude Bellingham, you have Luka Modric, you have Toni Kroos, and then you have Federico Valverde. So, Chelsea thought that, okay, if Real Madrid has all these players, I think if they knock on the door of Aurelien Tchouameni, it might push Real Madrid to give them the go-ahead to sign a player. But it looks like Real Madrid is proven stubborn. Because this player, I think, got a knock, in the course of the season. Because at the beginning, he was very, very brilliant. He was very brilliant until he got the knock. And then his recovery became a problem. And then, if the season starts and then players, are up there and then you just drop, it's not easy for you to just come and then go and then match up with them. The sick can never be head-to-head competition with the healthy. That will never happen. It's not possible. So that's what happened. So now Chelsea want to take the advantage to get Aurelien Tchouameni, but it looks like Real Madrid are saying no way for Tchouameni. So let's see, interesting times ahead of us. And then I say that now, what befalls Kylian Mbappe's decision? So this is it. So Paris Saint-Germain, I think the previous years had an argument with Kylian Mbappe that we were there, and then Kylian Mbappe came and told the whole world that he's not moving nowhere. He's going to play for Paris Saint-Germain, and then this is his homeland, and then he's going to stay here. And we all know that, your dream is to play for Real Madrid. That's your dream, right from childhood. That has been your dream. And no player in this world will reject playing for Real Madrid. No player. Even I think the only player who will reject playing for Real Madrid will be Lionel Messi. But even it's based on loyalty. Yeah, loyalty. However, he's a team on his own anyway. Yeah, he leads his army, and he shows what he wants to do. So I think apart from Lionel Messi, no player will reject playing for Real Madrid. If you want to be attached to history, if you want to be attached to success, if you want to be attached to fame, if you want everybody to know you, you cannot do away with Real Madrid. If you want to win European titles, you want Real Madrid. So this guy says, oh, he's not going anywhere. He's playing for PSG, and that is where he wants to play, and this and blah, blah, and blah, blah, and blah, blah. 1 year. Now, Kylian Mbappe is not willing to sign. We all thought he was signing 2 years contract, not knowing the agreement was that he will sign 1 year, and then the next year, he will decide to sign or not. And if he says he will not sign, they have to sell him. Because if they don't sell him, he will be going for free. So now, PSG's arms are tied. And Real Madrid is playing it so wonderful, man. They are not trying, they lavished a lot of money the previous year, and the PSG refused the money because they also want to show like, we have money and this and that. So now, Real Madrid is not pushing so much money. Well, okay, if you don't get him this time around, next year he's coming for free. Free. So PSG has no option than to sell. Well, if they have lots of pride, they would say, okay, we are not selling. He can go free. We don't care. But for a player in the shape of Kylian Mbappe to play your team and leave your team without you gaining a coin of his transfer, out of his transfer, then I think that is insanity. Very, very insanity. This is business. This is the game of football, and it's business now. So you have to do the do for you to get your money to balance the books. We don't care where your money is coming from, but you got to balance the books. And that is what is happening. So Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid, buhaha, greater and interesting things yet to unfold. And now Inter Miami, Lionel Messi has moved to Inter Miami. But before he moved to Inter Miami, this dude rejected $1.5 billion deal from Saudi Arabia. Do you know $1.5 billion? Do you know that? Well, Lionel Messi says, no, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. I'll be going to Inter Miami and I'll go and play in the LMS. And then I don't know. But I mean, I know what Lionel Messi wants to do. But later I'll tell you. I know he wants to do. I know what he wants to do. Yeah. And then you do not be surprised if Lionel Messi gets back to Barcelona to finally, officially bids them farewell. Farewell. I will not be surprised. It's part of his plan, you know. He got money. He doesn't really need that money. But I want you to know that Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all of them, they still need more money. Yo, you don't let this money go like that, Leo. $1.5 billion? Anyway, okay. All right. So that's it in the transfer market. These are the things that are ongoing in the transfer market. So many things ongoing in the transfer market. But teams are beefing up their squad, and then they are hoping that the next year will turn out good for them. And then, like I said, one of the most competitors is Arsenal FC, and then they are doing everything in their capacity to sign and then to beef up the squad to be very, very competitive in the coming season. Yeah, I know Arsenal want to be up there. They've been down there for a very long time, and that is what we are talking about. And then finally, from the international front, before we move into the local scene, this is a little, I don't know, should I say an article or something I wrote. It's entitled The Dream, The Dream, The Dream, The Dream, The Dream. Yeah, so today I want to talk about something small, something I think that we all need in our lives, something very, very inspirational, and then something that I think we must all, look up to in our quest to becoming successful in life. It's very, very important we look at this. So Manchester City was a mid-table team before Sheikh Mansour came and then took the team. This man took the team and then started somewhere. So I remember in 2010 somewhere, Robinho moved from Real Madrid to everybody knew he was coming to Chelsea because at that time Chelsea was, flying. Very, very flying. After they even lost narrowly in the finals to Manchester United. Yeah. And then in 2009 they played, and I think they lost to Barcelona based on, sheer luck. Yeah. Robinho was a big thing moving from Real Madrid into the Premiership. And then everybody knew, okay, Robinho will be coming to Chelsea. Then all of a sudden, one thing led to another, and Robinho found himself in the blue side of Manchester. And then it became a big thing. Then the Manchester City project started. Manchester City went for Roberto Mancini. They started beefing up the squad. Yaya Toure left FC Barcelona, and then he came to Manchester City. And then we had players like Sanya moved from Arsenal to Manchester City. Kyle Walker also came to Manchester City, even that is after Sanya had left. Gael Clichy moves from Arsenal to Manchester City. Nicolas Alexander Kolarov also moved to Manchester City. Edin Dzeko moved to Manchester City. Mario Bewa Balotelli moved to Manchester City. Look at the signings they were making. The evergreen David Silva moved to Manchester City. And guess who? Sergio Kun Aguero moved to Manchester City. Look at the purchases they were. Pablo Zabaleta moved to Manchester City. So look at the purchases they were making. Right from they got Mancini. So now they started getting the players. They started somewhere little by little, and then they started getting the players. And now the dream was one day to win the Champions League. But first, we have to start with the league. But even before we start with the league, we have to compete with the best. We have to set a target for us. So they moved from a mid-table team and they started fighting for the top 4 spot. So at a point, Manchester City was a no team to play with. And then gradually, they started grounding and gaining respect from other teams because of the investment made in the team. And the one thing I love about the owners of the Manchester City is that they do not interfere in the running of the club. They have appointed technical know-how to take over the team and to lead the team to the direction experts have given. So you see Manchester City and you see that there is a future lying right in front of them. Because if you go to Manchester, it has always been the red side of Manchester. So Sheikh Mansour going similarly like Roman Abramovich did with Chelsea, he also started putting things in place, trying to make sure Manchester City one day will be a name, an iconic name in world football. Now they have done it in Europe. It is time for them to do it in the world. After they have won the World Club Championship, then their name will be cemented in the book of elite football clubs. So Mancini came. He did his best. He gave his all. And you remember that season where Sergio Kun Aguero won it just at the blink of the whistle against QPR. Everybody saw it. We all knew Manchester United were going to win the league, and then from nowhere, Sergio Kun Aguero led them to win the title. So Manchester City started from somewhere. They started from the mid-table, moved and pushed to top 4, moved and pushed to top 3, moved and pushed to top 2. They moved and then they clinched the title. And now they saw the title as a bona fide property, something which belongs to them. And that is what they have been competing for since they won it once. And now they do not even compete. Now they feel they own it. So even if you are ahead of them, they can chase you and they can take it back from because it's their property. That is Manchester City. What am I saying? You have a dream. Then you have to work at it. Manchester City have shown the way. Leagues, teams, I'm a Ghanaian. Ghanaian teams can do likewise. You have to invest. So we see Manchester City, after fighting, trying to go for the Champions League, they couldn't. Now they appointed Pellegrini. Pellegrini also came into the scene. He bought some players. He also came and he also won the league for them. Okay. We have gotten somewhere. We still haven't gotten to the ultimate. We need somebody to lead us there. Manchester City broke the banks, got Pep Guardiola, explained the future to him, listened to his view as far as the future is concerned. And then they supported him unconditionally. Yes, they have a target at the beginning of the season. But even if they don't get to the target, they know that finally one day they'll get to the ultimate. Pep Guardiola also came in. He noticed his defense is the problem. He started buying players to fit his defense. And the one funny thing is that Pep Guardiola doesn't buy a world-class player. Yes, he buys expensive players, but those players were not world-class. John Stones wasn't a world-class when he was being bought by Pep Guardiola. Even the great Kevin De Bruyne wasn't a world-class when he was being bought by Kevin De Bruyne, by Manchester City. Because even the time Kevin De Bruyne is being bought, we have the great Xavi and Iniesta, and we even have David Silva, evergreen, playing. Rodri was taken from the team of Atletico Madrid, which nobody saw him play, but Pep Guardiola saw his talent, and then he bought him. Today, he is the pivot. He is the anchor of the team. He wasn't world class. Ederson wasn't a world class goalkeeper. But he knows exactly what he wants. He looks for it, he gets it, and boom, he sets his team. Guardiola came. The first season was awful. Gradually, second season he came in. And I tell you what, in 5 years, they have won the league 4 times. Let's to talk about winning the treble this season. Having attempted severally, playing so many semi-finals in the Champions League. Getting to the final once against Chelsea. Being beaten by Chelsea didn't dampen their spirit. Didn't demoralize them, didn't shift their focus from the dream, but rather inspired them. And they do it over and over again every season, creating so much competition among themselves, creating a very viable environment for players to play, giving chances to talent to showcase what they got. And then finally, Manchester City is an elite team in the world because they did all that they could, yet they are being told if you do not win the Champions League, you will not be considered elite. Now Manchester City is elite. They didn't just win the Champions League, they won the treble. Which means out of the 4 or 5 competitions they competed in, they won 3. They won 3. And they were all ultimate grand competitions. The Champions League, the League, and the FA Cup. Not even the League Cup. So if you have a dream, or if you are a team owner and you have a dream and you want a case study, I bring to you Manchester City. Never fear investing. Your investment will eventually, no matter how long the seed takes to germinate, one day it's gonna germinate. You never have to give up. Those whose expertise you are patronizing, you need to trust and give them all the support they need. Because I'm telling you, Pep Guardiola wouldn't have made it if he had found himself with teams like Chelsea and Bayern Munich and even Real Madrid. They would have sacked him. Zidane won 3 Champions League in 2.5 seasons for Real Madrid. Eventually, they sacked him after a very poor run in the next 2 seasons. The dream, the Manchester dream, the Manchester City dream. It is possible. You don't give up. It is possible. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting a bit emotional, but that's it. No, that's the way to it. That's the way to it. So That's Manchester City for you. I think they deserve it. I think they deserve it. So we have to give them all the recognition that is due them. Yeah, Manchester City deserved it. They deserved it. They deserved it. All right. So away from the international scene, now we're coming to local scenes, and then is it an honor? Okay, I'm glad to be, given the power to announce to you that finally, the baby jet Asamoah Gyan has retired from active football. It is my honor. Yeah, should I say it? Well, I think that's how it's done that way. Yeah. I am privileged to announce to you, my dear listeners and viewers, that baby jet Asamoah Gyan has finally retired from active football. They had a conference with the legendary Didier Drogba. And then finally, at the tail end of the program, Asamoah Gyan decided to announce his retirement from active football. It was an emotional moment for him, but he feels the time has come. He he has been battling it for a very long time now. Knowing a game, something you have been doing all your life, right from infancy, growing up. That has been your life. All of a sudden, you're going to move out of it and then start something new. The stress you're going to go through before you even get to this point of understanding the fact that this is reality and that we have to face it is another thing to talk about. So over the years, we have seen players who, after the game of football, didn't know how to go on with their lives, and then most of them became turned into drunkards. Others also, started doing so many social vices, and others also, had no clear plan and future for their lives after football. So that has been the problem for all active footballers and all sportsmen, because for footballers you only have like averagely 15 years of your active career, and that's it. So imagine you living that 15 years, and the most of this time you start at the most of the time it's when you are not mature. Like you start playing at 18 years, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now you start getting matured. Yeah, you start maturing around this age. By the time you hit 35 or 34, most players retire statistically between the ages of 33, 32, 32, 33, 34, 35. That is where most players retire from active football. Yeah, we have instances where players play even to age 40, like Thiago Silva is doing right now. And then that is for exceptional players. Not all players can do that. Just a few players, because your body morphology or your body makeup might not be designed for you to be active in those old stages. So that's it. So you have 15 years to play, and then after 15 years, if you do not design your life very well, then your life has come to an end. And then this comes as a result of footballers' extravagant lifestyle. Spending the money buying the watches, £50,000, £100,000, £200,000 wristwatch, buy a car over £300,000, that living those luxurious lifestyle. Yeah, it is good to live that, but most players do not see it until they find themselves in a position where they had lost almost everything. So player career counseling and then life counseling is also very important for teams. Teams, I think nowadays have taken upon themselves to help players, plan their future, even life after football, so that when they finish playing football, they can live a very profitable life. They can live a very meaningful and responsible life from football, and then that has been the problem. So it is very, very imperative for every guidance or guardian or manager of an upcoming footballer to put before them the future of the player after football. It's very, very important because we see so many players who, after football, become nuisance in society. They lose their credibility, they lose their respect, and they do so many other bad things which tarnish the image they have fought for before, and then even disgracing our game of football because football always is about unity and then and love and respect for one another. So if you find a person who has ever graced the occasion and has played it to the top, in a certain situation, which is not palatable for the game, it makes it look so weird as far as the game is concerned. So that is what we are talking about. So this is our game of football, and then we beseech managers and team owners and then even teams to make sure they take their players through career counseling and guidance, even life after football, so that they will also live a meaningful life after the game of football. It is very, very important. That is why in Germany, oh, I love the German system. I just love the German system because you are not only being trained as a footballer, everything you are given a holistic training, in other fields, other endeavors. That's why at the end of the game, you see most German tacticians in the game, coaches, players. After playing, they become coaches, they become pundits. Some of them become business administrators. Running teams, running stuff, because it is not only about the game of football. It's about your life, your holistic life. That is what is very, very important. So yeah, Germany is doing it, and then any other place, any other country can also do same. Yeah, let's talk about my country. I don't know because I do not see any laid down policy or any laid down thing, to the future of our young footballers. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. A league where a player is even given is being paid like less than $100 a month, or I don't think would even go to that extra mile of telling players how to prepare their future, because there's no future in it. Yeah. So the little you have to do is for you to make sure you're wise enough to save something, and then to make sure you have life after football. So life after football was the reason why Asamoah Gyan has been struggling to retire all this while, because he doesn't know how to live a day without the game he loved so much. Didier Drogba shared his experience. Something you used to do, you go to the pitch, you see people call out your name, people you take carry your staff, carry your boots, carry your luggages, see place, you sign autographs. A time is coming, people will see you and they'll just pass by you. Once upon a time, someone whole people, crowd over you. Now they see you and they pass by you because you're no more relevant to the system. That is how it is. But you have to create a system for yourself so that you become more relevant even after the game of football. So that is I think a little bit of advice to our footballers and even sportsmen, all other sportsmen. You need to create a future for yourself. You need to create a life for yourself after the game of football, which is very, very important. We've seen Emmanuel Eboué and then other players who are claiming they do not even have anything after the game of football. We have seen players who have even lost it, even how to keep fit. Players will be very, very active, very, very having very, very sports body shape, but immediately they retire. Within the next 6 months, 7 months, even 1 year, you see everything has exploded. They do not have that discipline to keep them even keeping their shape. You need a life after the game. You need to inculcate some of the practices and principles you have gotten from the game into your life. Now you're going to face reality after you have retired from active football or any other sports. It is time for reality. So if you're somebody who have been spending so much, then you have to learn to cut your spending, because if you want to go the way you used to spend, this time around you are not earning over 50,000 or 100,000 pounds a week. The monies are not coming in weekly. The only monies you'll be receiving will be the monies from the investment you have made. So if those investments are ready or able to or have matured to earn you such much money, then you can go by that your extravagant lifestyle. However, if you are not getting such much return from your investments, it means you have to cut your cost and then live according to reality. However, if you want to go otherwise, then that's your problem. So that is what footballers have been going through, and it has become something worrying that we really need to discuss. You need to get a life after football. That's why most European countries, you see footballers, even before they retire, they go do some NBA, they go and then do some business administration courses, they do so many administrative courses, either they into coaching or they hold administrative positions, sporting positions, the technical positions here and there. And then that's another life you're going to get away from what you have been doing. So you need to continue living, because you don't have to live in the shadows of the past. If you retire today, your career is very short as a footballer. Your career is very short as a sportsman. So you need to plan your life. However short it is, it's very, very lucrative within that short time. Because as a player, young player, you'll be earning over 50,000 pounds a week. You need to invest with this money. You need to, at the end of the year, you're able to get like £1 million a year. It's a lot of money for you to invest. Make investment so that at the latter stages of your career, where you cannot run, you cannot kick like you used to, you have something to lean on. Very, very important. What I noticed that most of these players do not learn any other trade than football. So after football, it becomes very difficult for them to fuse in or get integrated into any other thing apart from the game. So you need to be versatile as far as survival is concerned. That is very, very key. Very, very, very key. So Asamoah Gyan has retired from active football, and now yes, he's a legend. He's a legend. He's the leading goal scorer for Ghana Black Stars. He scored 51 goals. 51 goals for the Ghana Black Stars. He played for Ghana in the 2006 World Cup. We saw what he did against the Czech Republic, the United States. We moved to 2010, even AFCON, where we got to the finals, playing against Egypt in Angola. You saw what the Asamoah Gyan did. From there, we moved to 2012, where we played, and we got 2010 World Cup. We got the chance to get to the semifinals against what's the name? Uruguay, but unfortunately we missed it. So we couldn't get to the semifinals, being the first African team to be there, even before Morocco did quite recently. So we got 2012, and then 2014 World Cup was a disaster, and Asamoah Gyan was still there. After Captain John Mensah had retired from the national team, he finally became the captain of the Black Stars, and then he led us to the 2015 AFCON final against Cote d'Ivoire, where we lost narrowly in the penalties. Also, Asamoah Gyan also led us to, I think, 2016 was he was it there? What did we play AFCON in 2016? I think the AFCON was played in 2017, or 2016. Asamoah Gyan was there. And then, unfortunately, 2018, we could not represent in the World Cup. And then finally, 2022, we represented in the World Cup. But this time around, with Dede Ayew as our captain. So Asamoah Gyan has contributed his quota to the Black Stars, and then he has given whatever he has to give to the nation. He has given out his blood and his sweat to to Mother Ghana, and then we really, really appreciate that. And then he's one of the footballers who really, really managed their moments of play in their playing careers. You know, he invested so much into his life, and that now even after football, he can still have something to do after the game of football, and that is what we are talking about. So when you get the monies, please invest. Money gets pregnant, and then if you do not impregnate your money, then you are going to lose it. However, if your money gets pregnant, you're going to give birth and give birth and give birth and give birth, and your life will become easier and easier and easier and easier. Well. If you're just joining us, this is Edinkra Sports Update on Edinkra Multimedia. And then we are live on Edinkra Radio NY on Facebook, and then Edinkra TV NY on YouTube. All too soon, we have come to the end of this edition of Sports Update. And I want to tell you again that we're going to cruise in the boats come Friday. Come Friday, we are cruising. The 9th annual all-white cruise party with Edinkra Multimedia. And now we are counting down to 7. Haha, 7. We are counting down to 7, and it's coming up this Friday, June 30th at Pier 36, 299 South Street, New York, 10002. Yeah, 10002. And then the artists that are coming are Kwame Eugene and Guru, alongside other artists. Oh my God, you cannot miss this one. So grab your ticket now. For your ticket, you can call these numbers: 929-331-8560, 347, or you can call 347-350-1857, or you can call 917-528-8033. Again, 929-331-8560. You can also call 347-350-1857. And then finally, you can call 917-528-8033. 9th annual all-white cruise party. You must be there. All right. So all too soon, we have come to another edition of Sports Update on Edinkra Multimedia. Like I say, always tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's make this a very big one. Like I say, until humanity is touched, we can never be happy. But then, how can you be the unbeatable? You can't be the unbeatable until you become the unbeatable yourself. This is NNM Nina Maxwell, the boy wonder. See you sometime next week. Until then, goodbye.